Did you know that Givenchy designed Meghan Markle's wedding gown for Prince Harry in 2018? The dress enraged the world's media and a large number of viewers on and off social media across the globe. Givenchy also has one of the most elegant fashion stories. So throughout this video, we will take a look at the legendary designer's career. We'll also look at some of the most iconic designs in the Givenchy portfolio and the evolution of the Givenchy logo. But let's begin with Hubert de Givenchy's childhood, his move to Paris, and how he started out. Count Hubert James Marcel Taffin de Givenchy, also known as Hubert de Givenchy, was born on February 27, 1927, in the northern French town of Beauvais. Givenchy was 3 years old when his father died before he established a luxury empire. When his father died in 1930, his interest in fashion grew as his mother and grandmother took over his late father's role in Givenchy's life. Their influence and impact inspired him to take the next big step in his life. Hubert de Givenchy left Beauvais at the age of 17 to move to Paris, France, which is a 1 hour and 22-minute car ride today. Because there were so many opportunities for him to pursue, Paris was one of the best places for anyone starting out in fashion at the time. Givenchy wanted to make all of the ideas he had in his head a reality, so he began his career as an apprentice for other fashion designers. Doing this in his late teens and early 20s not only allowed him to learn more about his new craft, but he also did it for free. All he wanted to do was learn more and more about fashion. Givenchy worked for a number of designers, including Cristobal Balenciaga, known as the master of haute couture. He has also collaborated with Lucien Lelong, Robert Pichouet, Jacques Fath, and others. Givenchy founded his own fashion house, the infamous Givenchy, in 1952 after doing a lot of apprenticeship work and gathering a lot of useful and practical information from everyone. Separates was one of the very first collections he ever created. This was referred to as elegant blouses with airy skirts. Separates were also very simple and popular, laying the groundwork for the style that everyone knows today as Paris chic. With its minimalistic and simple color palette, Paris is still known as the fashion industry's epicenter to this day. Not only were women smitten with his collection, but it was an instant success. The Bettina blouse, named after a model he worked with named Bettina Graziani, is one of these popular pieces. During the 1940s and 1950s, she was one of Givenchy's first muses. Givenchy met the well-known Mr. Balenciaga a year after launching his own brand. He looked up to Balenciaga and thought of him as a teacher and industry leader, especially for the brand he had started the year before. Givenchy was 25 years old at the time. The Sac Silhouette was a piece he collaborated on with Balenciaga. During that time, this became another instant and popular hit. Women wore long cloaks and raised their legs with heels, giving them a mysterious appearance. This created and pioneered the look of iconic 1960s women's fashion. Things were starting to improve for the Givenchy brand by this point, as it was almost the 1960s. As he moved up the luxury ladder, the famous actress Audrey Hepburn was one of the people he met. It was said that Audrey Hepburn helped Hubert de Givenchy launch his career. Let's find out how. Coco Chanel popularized the little black dress in 1926, and it became an instant statement piece for any woman who wore it. Despite the fact that she had the idea, it was Givenchy and Audrey Hepburn who made this one of the most iconic pieces in fashion history. Hepburn was a British actress, philanthropist, and fashion icon best known for her role in the 1961 film Breakfast at Tiffany's. The iconic dress is first seen in Hepburn in the opening scene of this film. Not only did this become one of the most famous dresses of all time, but it was sold for around $807,000 to help fund the construction of a school in Kolkata, India. The little black dress was one of Givenchy's best and most well-known pieces because of how he transformed it from a simple dress into a look that every woman desired to wear. But how did Givenchy go from being virtually unknown in the industry to working with Audrey Hepburn? On the set of the 1954 comedy drama film Sabrina, Hepburn became fast friends with the costume designer. In 1953, she asked him to make her a set of clothes. Sabrina was about a woman played by Audrey Hepburn who returns home after living in Paris and falls in love with David, but his brother wants him to marry someone wealthy so that the family legacy of wealth can continue. Givenchy had planned to design work for Katharine Hepburn, but his ideas inspired Audrey to want him to work on her film instead. Hepburn was a well-known and respected fashion icon during this time, so it was great for his reputation and helped people learn his name. Away from Givenchy, let's take a look at the brand's history. It was no surprise when LVMH purchased the brand in 1988, given its continued success. Hubert de Givenchy stepped down in 1995 after a career spanning more than 4 decades. He wanted to inspire a new generation of creatives to take over and bring his house into the new millennium. He was briefly succeeded by John Galliano, Alexander McQueen, and Julian McDonald. The brand didn't get a new look until Riccardo Tisci took over in 2005. This shift would catch the public's attention and elevate the brand to a new and coveted status. Riccardo Tisci was known for his style, which was both edgy and romantic. He also liked to use unusual prints and color combinations. Over the course of 12 years, Tisci created many of the handbag shapes that made Givenchy famous. The Antigona is the most recognizable. Its simple shape and structured silhouette quickly made it the "it bag" of the year, and it quickly became nearly impossible to find. Givenchy made a bold move by hiring Claire Waite-Keller as its first female creative director. This British-born designer was an obvious choice for the role, having worked at Ralph Lauren, Gucci, and Chloe. This would prove to be fortuitous timing, as Claire Waite-Keller was asked to design Meghan Markle's wedding gown for her marriage to Prince Harry less than a year after her appointment. Even though the dress was simple, it fit the style of the new creative director and had the look of a bygone era, which Markle had asked for. Following the royal wedding, Meghan Markle and Rosamund Pike presented Waite-Keller with the British Designer of the Year Womenswear Award. Claire Waite-Keller's reign has grown more confident, and she has begun to experiment with the direction she wants to take Givenchy. She has been showing more daring looks on the runway lately. These looks still have the simplicity she is known for, but they also have the modern, edgy twist that Tisci put into the brand's DNA. As things stand, we're excited to see where Waite-Keller takes the luxury house, and we hope her time there thus far is an indication of what's to come. Over the years, Givenchy has had a couple of designers that have contributed to the success of the brand. Let's see a few. Givenchy's designers have always been in the spotlight, from Hubert de Givenchy and Audrey Hepburn to Claire Waite-Keller and Meghan Markle. Vogue goes through the archives to look back at the star creatives who have shaped and are shaping the fashion industry. Givenchy's first spring/summer 1952 collection brought the idea of a separate wardrobe to the world of couture. In Les Separables, fanciful shirts alternated with gabardine skirts. Givenchy's famous fit model and muse, Bettina Graziani, was the model for the Bettina blouse, which is a white cotton shirt with flared flamenco sleeves. His svelte capes, nifty houndstooth suits, and clean-line sack dresses were soon worn by Princess Grace of Monaco, Babe Paley, and Jacqueline Kennedy, but it was Hepburn who really put him on the map. She wore Givenchy on and off the set of films such as Sabrina, 1954, Funny Face, 1957, and, of course, Breakfast at Tiffany's, 1961. When Givenchy retired in 1995, he was succeeded by the British enfant terrible, John Galliano. His blooms were printed on second skin skirt suits with tilted top hats to match, enthralling the front rows with fashion theater, face veils, bolero jackets, and flower garlands. The following year, Galliano left Dior to be replaced by another Brit, Alexander McQueen. McQueen, who started his own label with his name in 1992, made something similar but darker for Givenchy. In 2001, Welshman Julian McDonald took the stage, bringing sequins and feather dresses to the label. He didn't fit in, and while he did create black cocktail gowns for his final collection in 2004, the 3-year fairy tale had come to an end. Riccardo Tisci, an Italian, took over in 2005 and reduced the fantastical fanfare of his predecessors. For spring/summer 2006, he showed a collection of sheer white shirts and pussy bow blouses that were a palate cleanser. Then he changed gears. Kim Kardashian and the transgender model Leah T were his inspirations, and his dresses were either very busy or not there at all. Madonna wore him as her designer date to the Met Gala in 2016, but he left the next year, ending a 12-year run that included head-to-toe leopard print, lots of lace, models with septum piercings, and fuchsia sequin face masks. Claire Waite-Keller, the first female artistic director at the house, took over from Chloe in May 2017. After taking a break for 8 years, she started making clothes for men and women and showed her first couture collection in January 2018. By May, she'd made another piece of history, Meghan Markle's wedding gown to Prince Harry. Let's take a look at some other famous Givenchy designs. Givenchy made a name for itself in the fashion world by making designs that stood out. Many of their designs earned the respect of their peers and made their customers green with envy. The first on the list is Baby Doll Gown, 1958. Givenchy was inspired by their close friend, Balenciaga, to make the baby doll dress for free women. He said, against the rules, that he was inspired by a dream he had of a free woman who was no longer bound by layers and layers of fabric. He described his new look as ultra-lightweight, emphasizing quick and fluid movement to empower the wearer. Second on this list is the Balloon Coat, 1958. This is Givenchy's most well-known design, and you can probably guess why. When Givenchy made the baby doll dress the same year, he was living out his dream of a free woman. This wool coat was dubbed the Balloon Coat. With its sloped shoulders and wide silhouette, this coat arrived at the turn of the 1960s and influenced the fashion of the era. Number 3 is Audrey Hepburn's Little Black Dress. The most famous LBD, Little Black Dress, of all time. The evening gown worn by Hepburn in the film earned the designer an Oscar nomination for Best Costume Design. Their relationship changed both Hepburn's and Givenchy's lives. Next is Audrey Hepburn's Sabrina gown. After missing out on an Oscar nomination for wardrobe design, Givenchy nailed it for Audrey Hepburn's hit film, Sabrina. The Larrabee family party dress she wore was without a doubt one of the best costumes in the movie. It was a beautiful design that stole the show and had all the qualities of haute couture. Finally, there's the floral Audrey Hepburn dress. The dress is so well known that it has its own wiki page. It's unusual for a dress to achieve this level of celebrity. Hepburn wore this beautiful white dress with flowers to the 1954 Academy Awards. It is one of the most famous dresses of the 20th century. But another famous part of Givenchy is its logo. Hubert de Givenchy founded the fashion house in 1952. Paul Barnes created the current logo in 2003. Givenchy's logo is straightforward and functional. The font is sans serif with traditional proportions. All of the letters are capitalized, and there is plenty of space between them. As a result, the word mark is perfectly legible in any size, large or small. The word mark is sometimes used alone, but it is also frequently combined with the Givenchy symbol. The symbol is made up of 4 G letters that are arranged in a way that looks like Celtic jewelry. The lettering Givenchy, with or without the quadruple G symbol, is sometimes combined with the word Paris, which is given in smaller letters below.